Hey y'all, I want to start with something we don't talk about enough when it comes to money. Fear. You know that sinking feeling when you check your bank account and it's lower than you expected, or when you hear someone else's success story and wonder if you'll ever get there. That panic, that tightness in your chest. It's not about money. It's about uncertainty and the story you're telling yourself about your own future. And I get it. I really do. We are wired for certainty. Our brains hate the unknown because it feels like danger. But let me tell you a truth that changed my life. The wealthiest people in the world aren't the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who can stand in uncertainty without running from it. So if you're in a tough spot right now, breathe. Don't panic. You are not behind. You are not broken. And you are not destined to struggle forever. Let's talk about what's really going to make you rich. 1, wealth starts with worthiness before we get to numbers, investments, or opportunities. Let's talk about something deeper, your belief about yourself. I've talked to so many people who say, I just want to be rich so I can prove myself. But here's the thing. Money will never be a substitute for self-worth. If you don't believe you're enough now, no amount of wealth will convince you. You don't need to earn $1 million to deserve a good life. You are already enough. And the moment you start acting from that truth instead of trying to earn it, everything shifts. 2, courage over control. Panic happens when we feel out of control. And let's be honest, money can make us feel powerless. But control is a myth. The richest, most successful people aren't the ones who have everything figured out. They're the ones who know how to take a deep breath, step into the unknown and say, I don't know exactly how this will work, but I trust myself to figure it out. You don't need to know every detail of your financial future. You just need the courage to keep moving forward. 3, the power of connection. No one gets rich alone, period. We like to tell ourselves the success story of the self-made millionaire. But the truth is, every wealthy person you admire got there because of relationships. They invested in people. They built trust. They helped others win. When you shift your mindset from a how can I make money to a how can I serve, help, and collaborate, you open doors you didn't even know existed. 4, failing forward is the path to wealth. I don't know who needs to hear this, but listen, rich people fail more than broke people. The difference? They don't make failure mean they're unworthy. They don't say, oh, well, that didn't work. I guess I'm just not cut out for this. They say, what did I learn? What's next? Your mistakes are proof that you'll never be rich. They're the stepping stones to getting rich. 5, gratitude is the ultimate abundance hack. Here's a practice that will change your financial future faster than any investment strategy. Gratitude. Panic says, I don't have enough. Gratitude says, look at how much I already have. That shift in energy changes everything. The more you appreciate what you have, the more your brain looks for opportunities to grow it. Gratitude doesn't just feel good. It's a wealth-building strategy. Final thoughts, listen. I know money is a tough topic. And I know that when you're struggling, hearing a don't panic can feel like the least helpful advice in the world. But I need you to trust me on this. Your financial future is bigger than this moment of fear. So take a deep breath. Get back up. Keep going. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are on your way to being very, very rich. And you won't just have wealth. You'll have the peace, confidence, and joy that comes with it. Now go out there and build it. Yellow heart wealth starts with worthiness. Let that sink in for a moment. Most of us believe that when we finally have money, when we hit that 6-figure salary, pay off all our debt, or see a certain number in our bank account, we'll finally feel successful. We tell ourselves that financial security will bring confidence, peace, and a sense of accomplishment. But here's the truth. Money doesn't create worthiness. It only amplifies what's already there. I've met people who are incredibly wealthy, yet still feel like they're not enough. They still wake up with anxiety, still feel like frauds, and still believe that one wrong move could send them back to square one. On the other hand, I've met people who don't have much, yet walk through life with an undeniable sense of abundance, confidence, and peace. What's the difference? It's not the amount of money they have, it's their belief about themselves. Most of us have been trained to believe that worthiness is something we have to earn, that we have to prove ourselves through our achievements, our productivity, and let's be honest, our bank balance. Society has conditioned us to believe that if we don't have financial success, we must not be working hard enough. Or maybe we're just not the kind of person who gets to be rich. But that's a lie. If you don't believe you are worthy of success and abundance right now, money won't change that. You might think it will, but here's what actually happens. When you tie your worthiness to external success, you never actually feel like you've arrived. You just keep moving the goalpost. You tell yourself, once I make $100,000 a year, I'll feel successful. Then you get there and suddenly, it's actually, I won't feel truly successful until I hit $500,000, then $1 million, then $10 million. And no matter how much you make, that feeling of being enough always feels just out of reach. Why? Because deep down, you never believed you were worthy in the first place. So let's flip this. Instead of chasing wealth to prove your worth, start with the belief that you are already enough. Before the big paycheck, before the dream house, before everything you think you need in order to feel successful. When you approach wealth from a place of worthiness, everything changes. You stop making financial decisions out of fear. You stop undervaluing yourself. You stop taking jobs or opportunities just because you're afraid nothing better will come along. And you start acting like someone who is already wealthy, not in a reckless, let's blow all my money away, but in a deeply confident, self-assured way. You start setting boundaries. You start making decisions that align with your future, not your fears. You start trusting that the right opportunities will come because you are the kind of person they come to. And let's be clear, this isn't about ignoring your financial reality. If you're struggling to make ends meet, I'm not saying to just think positive and hope money magically appears. Practical steps matter. Financial literacy matters. But what I am saying is this. You don't first believe you are worthy of abundance, no amount of financial strategy will ever be enough. So take a deep breath. Let go of the idea that you have to earn your worth through money. You are already enough, and when you truly believe that, wealth will follow. Panic is a natural response to uncertainty. It's wired into us. When we don't know what's coming next, our brains go into overdrive, scanning for threats, trying to regain a sense of control. And when it comes to money, especially if you've struggled, if you've been in debt, if you've lived paycheck to paycheck, that panic can feel overwhelming. It starts as a small thought. What if I never get ahead? Then it grows. What if I lose everything? What if I never figure this out? Before you know it, you're spiraling, making desperate decisions, or worse, freezing, doing nothing, stuck in fear. Here's what I want you to understand. The wealthiest people in the world aren't the ones who have everything figured out. They're not the ones who never experience fear. They're the ones who have learned how to move forward despite fear. The difference between wealthy people and those who stay stuck isn't intelligence, luck, or even talent. It's courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to take action even when fear is present. It's stepping into the unknown, feeling the discomfort, and deciding to move forward anyway. And when it comes to money, courage is one of the greatest assets you can have. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you think they got there by playing it safe? By only making moves when they were 100% sure of the outcome? No, they took risks. They made decisions without a guarantee. They stepped into uncertainty with the belief that they could handle whatever came next. And that's what you have to do too. Now let's be real, this is easier said than done. Oh, fear is powerful. The need for control is strong. And when you're in survival mode, it feels impossible to take risks or trust that things will work out. But here's the truth. Trying to control everything is what's actually keeping you stuck. Control feels safe, but it's an illusion. No one has full control over their financial future. Economies shift, industries change, unexpected expenses come up. And the harder you cling to the need for certainty, the more paralyzed you become. So what's the alternative? Trust. Trust yourself to figure things out. Trust that you are capable of navigating challenges. Trust that you don't need to have all the answers today in order to move forward. This doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean making impulsive financial decisions just for the sake of having courage. What it does mean is shifting your mindset from I can't take action until I know for sure to I may not know exactly how this will go, but I trust myself to adapt and adjust along the way. Courage isn't about never making mistakes. It's about believing that even if you do, you'll learn, recover, and keep going. Let's break this down into something practical. If you're panicking about money right now, maybe you're in debt, maybe you don't have savings, maybe you feel completely lost. The first step isn't to try and control everything. The first step is to take a breath and remind yourself, I am capable, I am resourceful, I can figure this out. From there, ask yourself, what's the next right step? Not a what's the perfect, foolproof plan for my entire financial future. Just the next step. Maybe it's learning a new skill, having a conversation, applying for a job, reaching out to a mentor, or simply creating a plan to manage your current situation. Small steps taken with courage lead to massive transformation. If you can let go of the need for control and replace it with trust, trust in yourself, trust in your ability to figure things out, trust that opportunities will come, you'll start to see wealth in a whole new way. Not as something you have to anxiously chase, but as something you are naturally building, step by step, with confidence instead of fear. So take a breath. The future is uncertain, yes, but that's not a reason to panic. That's a reason to be bold. We like to believe that success is an individual journey. That if we just work hard enough, hustle long enough, and push through enough obstacles, we'll make it on our own. It's a story we've been told over again. The self-made millionaire, the lone genius, the person who pulled themselves up from nothing without any help. But here's the truth. No one becomes wealthy alone. Money doesn't just come from effort, it comes from people, from relationships, from the opportunities, collaborations, and trust you build with others. Every successful person, every wealthy individual, every game changer in the world got to where they are because they understood one simple principle, connection is everything. And yet, so many people struggle financially because they're trying to do it all on their own. They believe they have to figure it out by themselves, that asking for help is a weakness, that networking is just a fancy word for using people. They think that keeping their dreams and struggles to themselves is a sign of strength. But isolation is not a wealth-building strategy. Look around at the most successful people in any field, business, entertainment, investing, even philanthropy. They have teams, they have mentors, they have communities that support them. They got to where they are not just because they were skilled, but because they built relationships that opened doors. And those relationships didn't come from manipulation or transactional thinking. They came from generosity, from being the kind of person others want to help, work with, and uplift. So, what does that mean for you? It means that if you want to be wealthy, you have to stop thinking about money as an individual pursuit and start seeing it as a collaborative effort. You have to build genuine relationships. You have to invest in people just as much as you invest in yourself. This doesn't mean chasing people down and asking for favors. It doesn't mean only building relationships with those who you think can help you. It means showing up, offering value, and being the kind of person who makes others' lives better. Wealth doesn't flow to those who hoard knowledge, opportunities, or connections. It flows to those who create value and share it freely. The more you help others succeed, the more doors will open for you. Think about the last time someone helped you. Maybe they gave you advice, introduced you to someone, recommended you for a job, or simply encouraged you when you were struggling. That moment didn't just happen by accident. It happened because there was a connection, a relationship, a foundation of trust. Now think about how often you extend that kind of generosity to others. How often do you go out of your way to support, uplift, or offer value without expecting something in return? Because the people who do that consistently, the ones who genuinely invest in relationships, are the ones who see opportunities come back to them in ways they never expected. Money flows where trust exists. If people trust you, they'll want to work with you. They'll want to invest in you. They'll want to support your business, recommend you to others, and create opportunities for you. But trust isn't built through shortcuts. It's built through consistency, honesty, and generosity over time. This is why some of the wealthiest people in the world are also some of the most giving. It's not just because they can afford to give, it's because they understand that generosity creates more abundance. The more you give, the more you receive. Not always in direct or obvious ways, but in ways that compound over time. The introduction you make today could lead to an opportunity years from now. The small act of kindness you offer could build a lifelong partnership. The knowledge you share freely could position you as someone others trust and want to work with. So if you're feeling stuck financially, if you feel like you're hustling without results, ask yourself, am I trying to do this alone? Are you investing in relationship? Are you surrounding yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and support you? Are you offering value to others without expecting something in return? Are you building trust, showing up consistently, and becoming someone others want to see succeed? Wealth isn't a solo journey. It's a collective effort. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you'll start seeing opportunities flow into your life. Not just because you worked hard, but because you built the kind of connections that make wealth inevitable. Failure is one of the scariest things we face, especially when it comes to money. No one wants to lose money, make a bad investment, or take a financial risk that doesn't pay off. We've been taught to fear failure as something final, as proof that we aren't capable, smart, or deserving of success. But what if I told you that the wealthiest people in the world have failed more than the average person ever will? Think about that. The people we admire, entrepreneurs, investors, business leaders, aren't wealthy because they avoided failure. They're wealthy because they learned to use failure as a tool for growth. They don't see mistakes as proof that they aren't good enough. They see them as lessons, data, and feedback. They understand that every financial setback, every bad decision, and every missed opportunity is part of the process. But most people don't think this way. Most people avoid failure at all costs. They stay in jobs they hate because they're afraid of starting something new and failing. They refuse to invest because they don't want to risk losing money. They hesitate to launch a business, raise their prices, or ask for a raise because they're terrified of rejection. And that fear keeps them stuck. We have to change the way we see failure. Instead of treating it like the end of the road, we need to start seeing it as the path to success. Failure isn't something to run from. It's something to expect, embrace, and learn from. Think about a baby learning to walk. They stand up, take a few steps, and fall. They don't sit there crying thinking, maybe I'm just not meant to walk. No, they get up and try again. They fall 100 times, but with every attempt, they learn how to balance, how to adjust their footing, how to move with more stability. That's exactly how success works. The only difference is that somewhere along the way, we were taught that failure is something to be ashamed of, something that means we aren't good enough. But that's a lie. Failure isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're in motion, that you're learning, that you're making progress. The only real failure is refusing to try. So let's talk about money. What does failing forward actually look like? It looks like taking a chance on a new opportunity, even if you don't know exactly how it will work out. It looks like making an investment even if there's risk involved. It looks like starting the business, applying for the job, putting yourself out there, knowing that not everything will work out, but trusting that you'll learn and grow from the experience. Does this mean making reckless decisions? No. Smart people take calculated risks. They do their research, they prepare, they think things through. But they don't let the fear of failure stop them from taking action. The wealthiest people fail fast and fail, often because they understand that every failure gets them closer to success. They know that the faster they try, fail, and adjust, the faster they find what works. If you try something and it doesn't work, you're not back at square one. You have new knowledge, new experience, new insights that you didn't have before. Every failure refines your strategy. Every mistake teaches you something. Every setback is actually a step forward, if you're willing to learn from it. The question isn't whether or not you'll fail. You will. The real question is, what will you do with that failure? Will you use it as an excuse to stop trying? Or will you use it as fuel to move forward smarter and stronger than before? People who stay broke see failure as a dead end. People who build wealth see failure as a stepping stone. So if you're afraid of failing, that's okay. Fear is normal, but don't let it stop you. Take action. Make the move. Trust that even if you stumble, you'll get back up with more knowledge than before. Because in the end, the people who win aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about mindset. And one of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from scarcity to abundance. Most people live in a scarcity mindset without even realizing it. It's that feeling of never having enough. Never enough money, never enough time, never enough opportunities. It's the belief that success is limited, that wealth is only for certain kinds of people, that if someone else wins, it means you lose. Scarcity makes you play small. It makes you afraid to take risks. It keeps you stuck in survival mode, constantly worrying about money, holding on to every dollar like it might disappear, afraid to invest in yourself, in your growth, in your future. And what happens when you operate from that place? You repel wealth instead of attracting it. You make decisions based on fear. You undercharge for your work. You stay in jobs that drain you. You don't take opportunities because you're afraid they won't work out. Scarcity convinces you that wealth is something out there, something other people have, something you have to chase, struggle for, and hope to get one day, if you're lucky. But here's the truth. Wealth is created from within. It starts with believing that money is not something you need to beg for, fight for, prove yourself worthy of. It is something you attract when you show up with confidence, take action, and operate from a place of trust rather than fear. This is an abundance mindset, and it changes everything. Abundance doesn't mean pretending money doesn't matter or ignoring your financial reality. It means shifting from a "there's never enough" to "opportunities are everywhere." It means believing that money is a tool, not a source of stress. It means understanding that success is not a limited resource, that there is more than enough to go around, and that you are fully capable of creating wealth no matter where you're starting from. So, how do you actually develop an abundance mindset? First, you have to change the way you talk about money. Pay attention to the words you use every day. Do you say things like "I'm broke," "I can't afford that," or "making money is hard"? These statements reinforce a scarcity mindset. Instead, shift to phrases like "I'm building wealth," "I'm choosing where to invest my money," "E-money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." It might feel strange at first, but your words shape your reality. Second, start seeing money as something that grows, not something that disappears. Scarcity tells you to hoard every dollar, to play it safe, to never invest. But the wealthiest people in the world understand that money is meant to be used strategically, wisely, intentionally. Whether it's investing in education, in a business, in personal growth, or even in rest and experiences that recharge you, money multiplies when you use it with purpose. Third, surround yourself with abundance. If you spend all your time around people who complain about money, who believe success is for other people, who constantly talk about how hard life is, you will absorb that energy. Find people who inspire you, who challenge you to think bigger, who see possibilities where others see obstacles. Wealthy people don't just have money. They have networks, mentors, and communities that support an abundant way of thinking. Fourth, give without fear. One of the biggest signs of scarcity is holding on so tightly to what you have that you're afraid to give. But generosity is one of the most powerful wealth-building habits you can develop. This doesn't mean giving recklessly or beyond your means. It means understanding that the more you circulate wealth, the more it comes back to you. Whether it's money, time, knowledge, or opportunities, the more you give, the more you create a flow of abundance in your life. Finally, trust the process. Scarcity wants everything to happen now. It makes you impatient, desperate, willing to settle for less. But abundance knows that wealth is a journey. It allows you to make smart, long-term decisions instead of chasing quick fixes. It reminds you that setbacks aren't failures, they're just part of the path. So if you want to be wealthy, don't just focus on making money. Focus on shifting your mindset. Because the moment you stop believing wealth is something you have to struggle for, and start believing it's something you are fully capable of creating, you'll start to see opportunities everywhere. And when that happens, wealth stops being a dream. It becomes inevitable.